Hey everyone, welcome back to another CT Yankee Jr. video. In this video I'm showing off another tractor that you've never seen before on the channel. It's a 1936 R44 Silver King tractor. I picked it up last June from a guy named Carl Hansen. He's a friend of our family's and he's actually our machinist on our projects here. And very shortly we will have our own equipment in this shop so we can work on those things ourselves. So back to the tractor. This thing was picked up from Preston, Connecticut, from a guy who restored this tractor quite a long time ago, but unfortunately, the tractor was basically neglected and left outside to unfortunately let Mother Nature take care of it. So when Carl had found this tractor, it was in the weeds, there was vines growing on all over it, and it looked pretty rough. I have some pictures I can show you now. And there wasn't much hope for it. When I first saw it, I originally thought that this would be a parts tractor. The rims were basically rotted right off of it. The front rims were in decent shape. I just had to clean those up. But we had to basically find an outer rim that would fit this inner rim on the tractor, because I wanted to keep it as original as I could. So luckily, in the warehouse at my dad's work, we were able to find a pair of rims that would fit the inner rims on this tractor. So we brought them home, we cut them to fit, and they ended up working quite perfect. We just primed them, so then if I eventually restore this tractor later down the road, it saves us time when I have to go and clean up all the parts. When I got the tractor, a few months after I got it, going into the fall show, just before the fall show, I took the valve cover off and I examined inside there. I believe there were 2 or 3 valves that were stuck open. So I had to take the head off and I worked them up and down till they came loose. And then I cleaned the carburetor, then did a quick copper coat on the head gasket, put it back together, and then we rebuilt the mag for it. We switched the internals out with another mag we had, and then we tried starting it. We pulled it around the yard, the clutch came free, and we ended up getting it running. But after a while, I noticed it wasn't running quite right. It would never idle correctly, and whenever you left it idling for too long, it would just randomly shut off. And I came to the realization that the valves weren't quite sealing in the head, in the guide. It wasn't sealing in the guide. So we ended up, just a few weeks ago, we took the tractor fully apart. I didn't do a full engine rebuild, but we examined the bearings, cleaned them up. They're Babbitt bearings, so it's quite an expensive replacement if you were to replace them. The Babbitt bearings look good enough to stick back in and run it for what we're going to be using it for. And we made sure to take some shims out to get it nice and make it a nice tight engine. So this video is basically a walkthrough of this Hercules IXA engine rebuild. I didn't end up recording everything, but I think that I got the majority of our work. We did some side work to also fix some things that were missing on this tractor. I'll show all that at the end of the video. I'll do a little walk around. Anyways, now that you've heard all that, I hope you enjoy the rest of this video and enjoy. So this time around, we're going to give this tractor the proper care that it actually needs. First thing we're going to do is take that oil pan access cover right there off, and then that will help us remove the front axle. Well, looks pretty clean there. I'm gonna start taking the pistons out now. Next job, take the valves out.
Yeah, see the two different lines? That's right in the center. That's right where you want it. You want to do this? Quick burst. No, burst. On, off. Up, down, on, off. Okay, to finish it, just go. It gives you the cross hatching. Up, down, up, down. Quick run. Yeah, like that. Okay. Let's see it. Let's see what it looks like. I can't get my hand down in there, it's so tiny. It looks like it's got good surface, I think. You can see there's some pits in some of those. But they're going to be should run a lot better from what it was. So we got to get a little, if you go into the sink or something with a little pan of hot water with a little dish soap in it, and we can clean up and down the cylinders, and then we can put a little oil on the head surface so it doesn't rust. So we're ready to put it together, but we can put the valves in it after we do that. Okay. We gotta flat file that off and flat file that off, and then see about running. We should just get my tap set, and tap each one of these.
Yeah, it feels like it's raised here.
It is raised. That means it's pulling the threads to the surface.
That's not good.
That's not good. And this doesn't have anything to put a helicoil into. If you look in there, there's no surface to put it against. So I'm scared of that one. I don't know what to do with it. Other than I could put maybe a stud in there and take some JB weld and JB weld it in and have that one studded. I might be able to do that.
Hey, we're back with the pistons. Got them all cleaned up, as you can see. They were pretty filthy, but they came out looking pretty nice. So next part of the process here is to put the new rings on. We got these rings from Steiner.com. The problem that we had was finding an exact set for this Hercules engine. So we got sent 3 compression rings and 1 oil ring, compared to it only has 2 compression rings on the piston and 1 oil ring. So they sent us an extra compression ring for each piston, which is fine. I guess we'll have an extra. So let's get started. It's kind of an exciting process.
Do the bottom side of it first.
I'm just gonna get it down there first.
Yeah, you can move it after you get in there. They bend wicked easy, boys.
Well, yeah, it's just when I was taking them off, even the spacers were breaking.
Just wrap it right around in there.
There it goes.
How does it fit? Nice and tight? Perfect. Good. So it's, is that what they call the second groove? Yeah.
I guess the next one, right?
Now, I think it has a thing where there's a dot on it and that goes to the top. Do you see a dot?
Yeah, I think that's a dot right there.
No, I can't. I need to look at it. Yes, I believe that's the dot. Because the chamfer is down. Yep, that's the dot. See the chamfer on it? If you look on the inside edge, there's a chamfer there. That's down.
So it goes to the top first.
You could skip it right down to it probably, but don't break it.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, good thing we got extras.
No. Oh yeah, we technically do.
Just pick that edge up. It's probably tough to do it with gloves because you're gonna slip.
Pick it up.
Don't pull from there because that'll snap it. You got to get it from right here with your fingernail. You get it.
There we go. That's tight.
It is. Yeah. Ring grooves are good.
We're going to do a top groove. Even though they're the same.
I want to take a set of these over and we'll measure the end gap in the inside. Top groove doesn't matter. Top or bottom. I think they're all the same.
They should be all the same. Is this? Oh, is this different? Is that why?
Yeah, it's a different material for the top groove. But I don't think there's a chamfer on that, right?
No.
Then just either way.
First piston done.
And when we go to put it in, we'll put these like 33 degrees apart so that they're all in different spots.
Okay, we got the last piston here. So you see how many extra second and third groove rings we have because there's only 2 compression rings on this piston, not 3. Okay. Last one. top one's always just a little bit tighter. There we go. Okay. All set. All ready to go into the engine. All right, I think we're about to start putting the valves in. Brought this to the valve grinder, cleaned up the bottom of the valve guide, and I think surfaces look really nice. And we're gonna start putting them in. And then we just insert our pin. Problem is, there we go. Put it in the center there. Just like that. Yep.
It might be up some because it's probably got.
Yeah.
Is it tight to the bottom of it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
It shouldn't be up.
no,
That's good.
it's fine. All right. All right, so we got the pistons in. I think we're ready to put the head back on. Found this this old gasket down at my pop's house, the Yankee. He seemed to have a lot of those parts for the cleat tracks, and well, this Silver King takes the same engine, so those parts come in handy sometimes. So we gave it a nice copper coat, so that when we put the head on, it's sealed properly. And then we also put a stud in on this last threaded socket here. It was just a safety precaution because what happened was someone put an oversized bolt in the head, and we were afraid that it was pretty close to the water jacket and it wasn't getting a good seal there. So we decided to weld up inside the block and then tapped it back to the original size, and JB welded a new stud in there. So hopefully that will fix the problem there. We also got some grade 8, right?
Yeah.
We also got some grade 8 new head bolts, so those should work good. Prevent them from breaking over the years. Nice, good quality. So I think we're ready to put the head on and torque it down.
You have to don't set it down all the way. Just start it, pivot it on an angle. There you go. Get it down some and then swing around. Don't touch the gasket. Okay. You're good.
Okay. We're going to start by torquing the bolts to 25 foot-pounds, just so that we can make sure everything holds well.
balanced. Good. So we're gonna put some never sees on these bolts so they go in nice and easy. You don't have to worry about getting them out some other time. Okay. So now we're going to take a ratchet and get them down to the surface of the head. So like I said, we're going to start at 25 foot-pounds. One is right here. We got the pattern. Two. Right next to it. Three. It's pretty much always from the center, work your way out. No, next one. Five. 19. And that's what we're gonna do for now. So we're gonna leave it at that overnight with a copper coat. And then once it's cured, we'll tighten it up to spec. And then once we run it, we'll give it one more final torque. You're gonna silicone that surface, right? Or you're just gonna put
I'm gonna put silicone on the core. Well, we only got much for this little guy.
I just don't want to crush those things in. Where's choke?
First run.
You don't want me to put my hand or just do that? It's not right.
It's not right.
You don't have the plug. If it backfired, you have the misfire. It's not right.
Yeah, right. First run, let's see.
Second time.
Alright, is that good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have choke on?
Yeah.
That should be good.
I think so. I don't see any gas coming out.
I think you need to spray something. There we go.
You got a windmill.
Huh?
You got a windmill it over. It wants to go. It's got smoke now. wanted more choke.
Sounded smooth already.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's so cool.
So here we are with the 36 all put together again. It's ready to go to the Zagway Farm Museum for the spring show. It is May 6th and 7th this year. So it's this weekend. Hoping to get this video up before the weekend so you guys can see our project for the past few weeks. So the engine had a quick rebuild. The manifold was replaced. We had to get the linkages here working with this manifold because the manifold intake here is much higher than the original. So these are the original linkages for this tractor, but we just had to bend them a little bit to modify it to make it work. We added this little bracket here so it stays in this spot while you throttle up and down. There's an issue with the governor right now. We're gonna have to take it apart later down the road and fix it. But for now, for the show, it's gonna work just fine with a spring. And as you might have noticed, it's got an implement on it. I picked this implement up a few months ago. It came from Massachusetts, from a guy that I found on Facebook Marketplace. It's a pretty cool unit. I don't see cultivators on these tractors too often, so it was a good find. I usually just see the plows for them, but I've never seen a cultivator on the internet. The mag worked great. So we went ahead and put some fresh oil on the transmission. Now the story is, over the summer when we were cleaning it out, I just dumped a ton of diesel fuel in there to clean it all and clean up the gears. I ended up leaving the diesel fuel in there for the show, the Zagray Fall Show, and I drove it around. So it cleaned up quite a bit in there, but the bearings weren't too quite happy. So when we went to put some fresh oil in it this time, I'm sure these bearings haven't seen oil in quite some time, so I'm sure they're happy to see it. So the transmission calls for 140 weight transmission oil. So the highest we could find around here is 8090. So we put 8090 in there. And along with 8090, we went and put this EP gear grease in there. And that should mix it up quite good and thicken up the oil. So that should be good for a little while. I'm sure I'll be replacing the gear oil in not too long of a time, because really what I should do is take the whole transmission apart and clean it out, because it's pretty bad. The bearings should probably get replaced. They're kind of gritty. And along with the engine rebuild, I didn't do quite much recording with this, but we also replaced the outer tube for this steering column. It's just a piece of galvanized tubing. We were actually able to find the right diameter outside. The inside diameter was just a little bit smaller, but the actual shaft is just centered inside the pipe. So all we had to do was take the rubber bushing that sits up here, the rubber grommet, and shrink it down just a bit to fit inside the tube. And now it fits tight like a brand new tractor. Now, the seat bracket was just one single bar here on this tractor, but from the factory, it would have come like this, where it has this second spring that goes underneath here and has this little coupling here. And what this does is it basically provides more spring action in the seat, and you sit up a lot higher. I think a lot of farmers decide to take that out so they can have more spring in the seat on a bumpy ride, more or less for when you're on the road and you're going pretty fast and you hit a bump, you don't bounce everywhere in the tractor or fall off the tractor. So this tractor is pretty complete. Later down the road, I'll probably end up restoring this tractor, but for a quick job like this, it's a nice tractor to have on display, and it's nice to keep them going, you know? Tractor sounds a lot smoother than it did with the reground valves and new rings. So I'm definitely happy with this job we did. And now people can enjoy it at the show. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, please leave a like and comment below. I really like to hear from you guys. Please make sure you're subscribed so then you can receive notifications on when we post another video. It really helps us out a lot, and we appreciate it so very much. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you back next time.